Hi guys, and welcome to my May wrap-up. Now I know in the past I said I was going to do wrap-ups and favorites videos together, but I just kind of felt that it was too disjointed, it was too many things going on at once, and I just decided I would just talk about books for the wrap-up. First book I read in May was Lilac Girls by Martha Hall Kelly, and I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. This book starts at the beginning of World War II, I think, and it basically just follows the storylines of 3 different women that were involved in World War II in very different ways. First is an American woman who works at the French embassy. The second is a Polish girl, I believe she's Polish. And the third one is a German doctor. Now, the story basically just describes the way that their plots all intertwine, and it even follows them a little bit after the war. There's not a lot I can say without spoiling too many plot points, but it's a very good book if you're interested in World War II. It really focuses on Ravensbrück, which was a concentration camp for women, which I thought I knew a lot about the Holocaust because it's always been a subject of interest to me. That sounds weird, it's just I'm very interested in history, and that's like something I've always been interested in. And I didn't really know a lot about Ravensbrück, but this book talks about the camp and about the experiments that went on there that I didn't know about. So it's educational, but it's also like a really good book. The next book that I read in May was the first volume of the new rebooted Archie comic series. I believe it's called The New Riverdale. And it's written by Mark Waid with art by Fiona Staples. At least for the first few issues, the art is by Fiona Staples. For some of the last ones, it's Annie Wu and Veronica Fish. And I rated it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Now, I am a huge Archie comics fan. I've been a fan ever since I was little. I just love the comics, and I like that they're updating it and rebooting it like this. It's like what the show Riverdale should have done, by updating and bringing the Archie characters into a modern setting, but keeping the integrity of the characters the same. Because Riverdale did not do that at all. It's basically just a teen drama with like the Archie characters kind of slapped on, but it's not really the Archie characters. Maybe I should do a talk about Riverdale. I might do that. This comic series is really great, the art is great, I think the storyline so far is really interesting, and I'm really excited to pick up the next issue and see where they're going to take the story. The next book that I read in May was On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher. This book is about a woman named Edie Snow who passes away at the age of like 80 something. Like, she's an old woman and she passes away, and she gets to the afterlife and she's 27 in like her 27-year-old body, and she is trying to get through to the other side, but she can't because she's still got things that are dragging her down from her life. So she has to go and fix all those things. I did not give that a very good description. Basically, her soul is too heavy to pass through the doorway to the other side, and she needs to lighten that burden by telling some secrets and just fixing some things in her life that she didn't get to before she died. Now, the premise of this book sounded very interesting to me. I've been wanting to read it ever since Carrie released it a few years ago, but I ended up rating it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, which is actually not that bad of a rating, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have liked. I rated it 3.5 stars because I did enjoy it, but there's just I had a lot of problems with it. I have a full review on Goodreads you can check out. First of all, there were points with the writing that I just felt there were things the editor should have caught. The sentence structure, there seemed to be some run-on sentences, just weird things that I thought the editor would have caught on to, but they didn't, and that's really confusing to me, especially because I love editing and proofreading stuff, and it just kind of bugged me that that was still in there. It's also kind of a magical realism type of book, but the magic only really pops up every once in a while, and it only really ever affects Evie and her family. So it just kind of felt really out of place, and there were times when I thought she was giving a really poetic metaphor, but it turned out that that thing was actually happening, and it was kind of confusing. I also felt that the main issue in this book could have been resolved very easily, and that the characters don't act like adults. They act like kids who have to listen to their parents and they can't make their own decisions for whatever reason. So yeah, I don't know, there's just a lot of things that I had problems with. I detailed it more in my Goodreads review. Overall, it was a cute story, so I did end up rating it enough to say that I liked it, but I didn't love it, which is kind of disappointing because I've been looking forward to this. On that note, the next book I read was Winter Snow by Carrie Hope Fletcher. It's a novella that goes along with On the Other Side. It basically tells Vincent's side of the story, which is the love interest in On the Other Side. Not really his side of the story, it just gives a little bit of a story for him. Now, this tiny little novella that's basically just like a pamphlet, it's 41 pages long. I didn't pay a lot for this. I think I only paid like, I want to say $4, maybe $2. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for this, but it was too much. This didn't really add anything to the story for me. It just kind of felt like unnecessary. It kind of felt like something that could have been included in the back of On the Other Side as bonus content instead of me having to pay extra money for it. And it just seems very unnecessary. I don't know. I rated it 2 out of 5 stars because I didn't hate it, I just felt like it didn't have to be there. The next book that I read was probably my favorite book that I read this month, and that is Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. This is like, not really a memoir, it's more of a collection of essays by the author, just kind of talking about her mental illness and her crazy, kind of. as she describes it. As it says, it's a funny book about horrible things. That's literally what it is. It's someone taking kind of a satirical, funny look at their own mental illness, and I really love that. It kind of reads like using humor as a coping mechanism, which is so me. I thought this book was hilarious. A lot of people complain that it kind of seems a bit hyperbolic, like you can't really tell if she's being serious about a lot of the situations, and I know for a fact that she's definitely exaggerating a lot on some stories, but it's still really funny. I think she even mentions in the beginning that some of the stuff is exaggerated a bit. But kind of the backbone of the stories is true. Like, I really love her writing style, and I laughed out loud so many times while reading this. I just really love this, and I would recommend it to everyone. Overall, I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Now back onto the Archie theme. The next book that I read was The Best of Archie Comics Volume 2. I've had the first volume of this for a while. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in my room. I think I might have lost it actually. It basically just takes you from like the 50s and like the start of Archie Comics through to the modern day and just kind of picks some of the best stories or some of the editor's personal favorite stories. And it's just really interesting to see the change in the comics from like the very beginning of Archie Comics to like what the art style is now. And I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would have rated it the 0.5 higher, but I took off the 0.5 because I feel like there was a lot of side stories that weren't actually focused on Archie and the gang, just because they were popular at the time. They have like Super Duck is a thing, or just like other side stories that aren't necessarily about teenage Archie and the gang and everything. Like, I don't mind Katie Keene or Josie and the Pussycats or Sabrina the Teenage Witch because I've grown up with that stuff, but some of the other ones I just didn't care as much about, and I kind of wish they would have included more like simply Archie stuff. But other than that, I have no complaints. It's just a really nice anthology if you are into Archie comics. Alright, don't worry, we're almost at the end. The next book that I read in May and actually just finished yesterday is The Young Elites by Marie Lu, by the suggestion of my brother, who loves this series and has read it like 3 times. He finally got me to read it. I've been planning on reading it for forever and I just hadn't got around to it, but I really love this book. This book is about a world where a blood fever kind of swept through the land. A lot of people died from this fever, but some of the people who survived have markings, like strange markings on them, and some of them also gain special abilities. And they call these people that have special abilities the Young Elites. And the government system kind of looks down on these marked people. They call them Malfetos, and this book is specifically about a girl named Adelina who is a Malfeto, and it just kind of details her journey. And all I'm going to say is that it's not a typical hero story. I don't know how much is widely known about this book, so I don't want to spoil anything, but I really like this because it was just so different than any other YA kind of books I've read. Just because the protagonist is very different. I love the magic system in this with the energy connecting everything. Everyone's special abilities are really cool. I'm thinking about doing just like a book talk on this, like a spoilery kind of gushy video, because I want to talk about it. Although I feel like it's been out for a while, so I don't know how much I should be avoiding spoilers, but I will anyway. And I ended up rating this 4 out of 5 stars. I would have rated it a bit higher, but I felt that the love story here was a little bit insta-lovey for my liking. I understand after reading, like getting to the end of this book, why it felt kind of rushed, but I don't know, it just still felt too soon for me. And I don't actually know what the timeline of the book was. Maybe it was a longer time than it seemed. Like maybe there was months between chapters or something like that. I just felt like these people became attracted to each other very quickly. And not even just attracted to each other, they do say they love each other, and it's just, it feels too fast for me. I like a slow burn relationship. Like most of the time, if there's like a trilogy of books and 2 of the characters fall in love in the first book, I am over it. Anyway, I love this book and I can't wait to read the rest of the series. I actually just started The Rose Society, so. And the last book that I read in May is actually a graphic novel, and it is the first volume of Giant Days, which is written by John Allison and illustrated by Alyssa Tremaine. This is basically the story of 3 girls who are in their first year of college, or university, whatever, and just basically little kind of misadventures and adventures throughout their time at university. That's it. It's just about 3 girls in university, and kind of their quirks and their friendship. This is a really cute book. The art style in this is really great. The only thing I didn't like about it was that I felt like the plot was kind of jumpy, like it jumped around at points. It didn't feel like it kind of flowed through. But I love the characters, I love the art, and I'm really excited to read the rest of the series. Overall, I rated this 3.5 stars out of 5. So that's it for my wrap up. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you read this month. Also let me know if you've read any of these books. We can have a nice little discussion in the comments. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you have a lovely rest of the week, and I will see you some other time with another video. Bye! Here's a fun fact. My camera died right before I said that last little bit, so I had to wait for it to charge so that I could finish filming and say that little bit. I'm so mad. I mean, first world problems though, am I right?